if you guys have not been at the show, you've missed a great wardrobe by Bob Song. And the shirts that he's been showing up with, it's almost like he belongs in the GQ magazine.
I'm going to tell you what, I don't know what his wife did for a living, but she had to be a dry cleaner because they are pressed nice, steamed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a stitch out. And tomorrow he's got a yellow one.
Honestly,
he's ending the show with a bang.
He's going to look like an offshore planer board.
Yep.
I think he told us that he was 67.
Bob was?
Yeah, I think that's what he told us. He was 67. He has a wonderful head of hair.
Oh.
And yeah, the wardrobe is on point. I mean, first of all, I hope I make it to 67. But if I do, I hope I can wear the same type of stuff he's wearing.
What's your hair looking like, Chris?
It's gone, man.
Oh, then you don't have to worry about the hair. You know what I mean? Like, you got half of it out of the way. Hair's gone. You just got to make it 67.
I just want the shirt.
And put some
those shirts are fly.
Yeah.
They are. I might try to wear one.
We should next year. We should really up our game when it comes to dressing. I mean, hoodies and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right.
Who wants a Fish Hawk hoodie? I'm going to get a Bob Songen shirt. Real excitement.
Yep.
I'm going out there. I'm going to get loud. I'm going to yell, rigger, 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 or bam, or stud fly on a spinna. And it's going to be huge.
Was it stud fly on a spinna?
Spinna.
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 Yeah. I think it's a Jersey thing, isn't it?
I don't know where Bobby's from.
You guys from out east.
He's from Oak Orchard, I can tell you that.
He's from Rochester.
North Orchard.
No, he's from Western Buffalo.
Is he out from out
Remember,
here?
that's where his cousin. Well, you know his cousin.
Oh, I know his cousin. Let me tell you about his cousin. I know him. Put him up.
I used to work for a lady that was from New Jersey. Her name was Linda, but she adds an R to anything that has an N, so it's Linder.
Yeah.
So spinna, that's not a Jersey thing. It's Linder.
I don't know where you got it from, but he follows reports of spinnas, stud flies.
Yeah.
Bam. That was a fun introduction.
It was a fun introduction. Why wouldn't it be? So
we got some great characters on this lake.
I know.
You know,
it's all about having fun, and he's one of my favorites. You know, we have a lot of fun with him. You know, he can be. I almost swore. I caught myself. I made it 40 minutes. He can be a real jerk at times, but he's definitely a good buddy of mine, and I appreciate our friendship and the laughs that we have.
Yeah. Well, I got to fish with both of you guys in Wilson last year together. I fished with you the year before too separately, but last year together. And I mean, we would spend some evenings in the the local establishments,
watering holes,
some food and some drinks. And what you're seeing here is pretty much what you guys are when we sit down and have a lunch or have a dinner. It's pretty much the same thing. You guys kind of trading barbs, making fun of Pete, kind of the same thing.
It's the same on
I
truckers.
think, honestly, I think if Casey and I had our own TV show, we'd be the next Jersey Shore.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm not fist pumping. Yeah. I mean, you got the hair.
I'm just saying, like, it was how popular it was.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You've got this family, and you got like a wife, and then you got Casey.
I had a dog, man.
You got Coop.
Yeah.
And
he's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
I'm not, Rick was on his way to be a loose cannon. Thank God for his beautiful wife, Alex.
Right.
She's really, Rick was hard. I think he'd never find somebody that would marry him. So God bless you, Alex. But I'm really, I don't even know how to say it without getting a little choked up. I'm happy for the
you want a hug?
No.
Because Chris will give you one. I'm not.
He's got no hair, man. I'm not into guys with no hair or guys at all. But it's cool. It's cool to see him raise his kid. The time, like, his priorities have really changed to being a dad. And it's really cool because I didn't see that in him. As close to friends we were, he just never came across as the guy that would be a dad. And he's a hell of a dad.
Man, that kid's got me wrapped around his finger, dude.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start having more.
No. Snip, couple weeks, done.
One?
Yep.
One's good?
Wife's begging me, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For a kid or for what?
Both.
He's lying. She's not begging him. I know his wife well. She's not begging him, but you should have one more.
We're going to keep this G-rated.
Right.
You should have one more.
No.
Why?
No. That's a lot of work, man. I don't know how people do it with 3-4 kids. People are walking around with 4 kids. Like, I don't know how they do it. God bless them.
Well, it was fun before it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. G-rated.
I kept it G-rated.
Well, we were planning on talking transducers.
Let's do it.
Casey said he had some other idea.
Let's talk about something different. Everyone's heard about transducers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you want to do?
I'll talk about food in Buffalo. That'll be real quick because there is none. How about tournaments?
When you talk about tournaments.
Want to do that?
I don't care.
Well, whatever you want to do.
It's up to you guys.
This is what we call great television.
Well,
we got people on here that have questions?
Yeah, let's just answer questions.
What kind of questions what do you guys want to hear about?
Let's do a Q&A. for Rick and Casey. So if you guys have questions, as long as they keep it at least PG rated,
Yeah, for sure.
let's do it. So why don't you guys give us some questions? And we got one audience member right here.
Well, my hair
You
really
got a
does look
question for
bad.
these two guys? We're gonna put them on the spot.
I've got a lot of questions for those guys, but I don't think we can do it within the confines of that.
Oh, you can go ahead. We'll keep it PG for you. We can modify it for you. That's no problem.
How about this? I know most of your story, but we'll start with Rick. And how did you get into charter fishing?
I had been fishing this lake since I was probably 5 years old with my father.
This lake, we're talking Lake Ontario.
Lake Ontario, yes. Been fishing it for many years. So when we were younger, he would bring me and my brother out there, and we kind of got hooked on fishing. And it ended up, I was my father's alarm clock on the weekends once I got into my teenage years. And we would just fish every weekend. He owned a landscaping business, and he worked at Kodak. So he worked long hour days, and on the weekends we went fishing. And that's just the way it was. We'd fish every day of the fall derby. So as I got older, he said, go get your license and let's start running charters. And that's what I did, and got my license back in 2007. And it's been running charters ever since. And I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting the people. I enjoy putting the smiles on people's faces. And I enjoy the competition out there. Even though we're not in a tournament, we're talking to our buddies out there every day. And it's just, to me, I put that little competition factor into it. And it helps you produce when you have to.
And it's still kind of a family thing. You and your brother Craig now work the boat, not necessarily together, but you guys are both captains, and you both run charters off the boat.
Yeah. I run the boat with my brother most of the time. There was a point where I started running charters on my smaller boat in the spring without my brother and let him run the bigger boat. And to be honest with you, I didn't like it. I enjoy fishing with my brother. We have a really good chemistry on the boat. We rarely get into arguments, but when we do, they're really good.
Yeah,
so that's entertainment.
They're really good. I've seen a few of them. Craig likes to buy a lot of tackle. Rick's got enough tackle already. So when Craig shows up with a bag, Rick's already heated, and then he starts putting stuff in the water when Rick's not looking. It's fun at the dock. It's really good.
Yeah. My brother puts some interesting stuff in the water.
Craig's more mellow than Rick, and it makes for some really good popcorn, and watch it happen because it's great. Yeah.
People would. I don't think people would believe that we have two different sides of the boat. When we grew up, I was always rigging the port side, my brother rigged the starboard side, and it's like two programs down there. It really is. So
and it's still like on your boat. Your brother's name's on one side and your name's on the other side.
Yeah, that's why it's there. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Cool. I didn't really think about that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Casey, get a little bit closer to that mic and tell us how you got started charter fishing. We got some questions loading up. Keep putting them in there. We'll get
same
to them
thing. My dad used to bring me up when I was 4. It was my dad, my grandfather. It'd be a 3 generations trip. We'd come up, and my dad worked with a gentleman that had a charter service, and he'd take some time off in the summer and mate for him. And then 2 or 3 times a year, it'd be guys' weekend away, and we'd come up and fish. And we did that since I was 5. And I probably stopped when I was 18 or 19. The gentleman sold a boat and started saltwater fishing, and I went to fish in the river a little bit, and I missed fishing the lake, so I bought a boat and started fishing the lake with my own boat. And I met a few people up here, Dave Filato, and then the owner of Fat Nancy's, Rob Ripka, and Tom Burke, Cove Steele, and Andy at Chase and Tail, and this guy right here. Actually, I can tell you.
Where did we meet?
We met in the Cold Steel. You put me in a headlock. Well, the first time you looked at me, and you wouldn't even acknowledge me. You know, he's just like a stuck-up snob. You know, like one of those girls that are, too good for you. That was him. He
when I found out you're from Pennsylvania, I didn't care.
It had nothing to do with Pennsylvania. What it had to do with is you just socially awkward. You didn't want to make friends because you thought you had enough because you're from Rochester. One of those Rochester guys. So that's fine. So I'm just like, whatever. I don't need to be his friend. I don't even like him. So little by little, he warmed up to me. I had some food, and he likes food. So I gave him some food. We talked. He got mad at me one day saying, pushing up on me. He pinned me in a quarter, put me in a headlock, and took pictures. And
his face was like red as a tomato.
Yeah. Back in the day, Rick's lost a lot of weight. Parenting has done him good. He's lost some weight. But back in the day, he was probably pushing 400. And It was like a sumo wrestler.
I was never
I
close
was
to
like
400.
195, so I shouldn't even been in the ring with him. And he jits on top of me. My face would have turned red before he was choking me, and I didn't even see it coming.
It's very simple. What do you
Sneak
do?
Attacks me, puts me in a headlock. Take some pictures, Craig. Hurry up. Take some pictures. And this is before social media was even big.
Right.
So I'm choked out. You know, I didn't tap. I wouldn't tap. You don't ever tap. Not in front of your homies. You pass out, go to sleep. You don't tap. You know, and I didn't do that, and I got some respect, and now we're friends.
What do you do when you get a new guy at work? He's the new guy.
Clearly.
Right? You don't pay attention to him. You don't
If you're watching this, choke your
treat
new
him
guys
good.
out at work.
He's got to earn his stripes. That's what Casey did. He earned his stripes.
I didn't. You go to sleep before you tap out. Don't punk out.
So this one morning, we're sleeping at Rob Ripka's house. We're about to go fishing. This kid's not waking up. I'm wide awake. I grab my pillow. I bust into his room, and I start smacking him over the head with it. He's like, what's going on? What's the matter? Oh, yeah, it was fun.
He's lucky. He's lucky. You know, I wake up.
We screw with each other all the time.
It's a blast. We have a great time. It's a great friendship. We don't get to fish together as much as we used to. We used to definitely spend a lot of time fishing on the lake. A few tournaments together. Once he got all my secrets, he didn't need me anymore. You know, he's a user. This type of guy he is, but it's cool. You know, if you know what you're dealing with going into it, Chris, you know, a quarter's worth a quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
From the time he put you in the headlock, you knew
I'm done listening to this BS. Can we answer some questions?
Yeah, we never actually really got to how he charter fished. We got to the point where you guys met each other.
I got into it.
He saw the limelight and saw guys like me and you know how cool we looked, and he wanted to be part of the game. Yep. So what's the next question?
I ended up fishing so much that I wanted to go to the next level and allow people to be on the boat and watch them catch fish because I love seeing that. So I ended up 2014, got my captain's license, and been doing it ever since.
Now he's the biggest guy in Lake Ontario.
No, I'm busy.
Mr. Big.
Yep.
I'm just a guy
What's his name? Superman?
I'm just a guy that likes to catch fish. That's all.
Superman and Captain America and Wilson this spring.
Russell the Love Muscle is coming.
Love Muscle.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to a few questions here. We got Philip here on Facebook. He wants to know, and I think this would be good for both you guys. Give him your 9-rod spread in June. What's that look like?
9?
I don't put a limit on the amount of rods in June, and I'll tell you why. June, especially where I fish, I don't know about down in your end of the lake, but in June, there really is not a huge thermocline set up yet. So you got fish that are in all parts of the water column. The more rods you can get in the water in June, the better off you're going to be. June is not a month to be lazy as far as I'm concerned. You want to cover the surface down to 150, 200 feet the best you can with the amount of rods that you have.
You're fishing salmon. On our end, we're going to be probably fishing brown trout. But same thing, I'm going to have 14 to 16 rods in the water. You know, a bunch of lead cores, some divers, riggers, maybe some short coppers, but I'm depending on what I'm seeing. But I'm definitely going to have more than 9 rods in the water.
Yeah, I'll have a side of lead cores from 1 or 2 colors down to 10 colors, a side of coppers, 100s, 150s down to 300-400s, and then your typical rigger spread and diver spread. But the more rods you can get in the water in June when that thermocline is starting to set up, the more success you're going to have.
Sure.
And we're fishing salmon and trout, so salmon, steelhead, we've got a mix. We don't know what we're going to catch. We can catch cohos, whatever's around, but just covering that water column on the western end of Lake Ontario is key.
All right, here's one from Thomas Riley. I like this one. He says, is North Shore Funny Moneyland open for tourneys this year?
I believe it is.
It's open. I crossed the border and went snowmobiling in Quebec a few weeks ago. It felt great to go across that border, and I'm looking forward to getting back to fishing some of those tournaments in Canada. We're going to start it off the end of April over in St. Catharines, and then we've got a few up in Toronto. So looking forward to seeing my North Shore friends competing against them.
They're really not his friends. They don't like him. They just act like they like him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been there.
What were you doing up in Quebec?
Snowmobiling.
Snowmobiling.
Might be going again.
Yeah.
A few weeks. Yeah. It's like the snowmobile capital of the world. If you like trail riding.
Wife, he's not going. She said no.
She doesn't make the decisions.
She does.
No, she doesn't.
She does.
No.
His wife's a black belt. She'll kick his ass.
She will whoop me.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, but still don't listen.
So if she can whip you and you can whip him, then she can whip him too.
No, I put some weight on.
Great point.
Right.
I put some weight on, but she could definitely kick my ass. But I think me and him, I mean, if we can get donations together, I'm in.
You want another match?
I do.
You want another shot at the title?
I don't. There's no title. I'm taking it. Yeah, I'm in. Maybe Wilson in the parking lot.
He already said he won't tap out, so that's what I worry about.
You got to go to
find
sleep.
Somebody who won't quit.
That can be dangerous.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be responsible for how many you have to 14 boats now?
4.
Oh, I don't want to be responsible for all those boats.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be responsible for having to raise your kid because you're not around. You know what I mean? So I'll take it easy on you, you know, but I'd clearly kick it. I'd take him now.
That's a good question. And I think Rick might be the best person to answer this, but what do you think would be harder to take care of? 1 child or 4 boats?
This is easy. Because with my wife, it's 1 child.
Yeah, that's easier.
I don't think I've ever changed a diaper.
I couldn't change a diaper.
So it's definitely
I have a hard
4
time.
boats for
4
kids.
boats.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I have a hard time cleaning up Cooper's poop or puke. If he pukes in the house by accident, he hates him bad. Oh, man, it's bad.
So there's many answers to what we're saying. For Rick, 1 child. For Casey, 4 boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good thing if that's how you guys divided and conquered. Though.
Yeah.
Casey did the 4 boats. You did the 1 kid. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. We got one. This is from Tommy. He says, "Crazy Yankee Charters rule."
Tommy catches 134 pounder, and I'm God. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all it takes.
Nah, he's a good dude.
And that's the thing. You know, my dad has fished with both of you guys, and it's just you guys both have charmed him so much. You call him Big Fish Dan, so he thinks you're both rock stars.
Yeah.
He caught a big fish with me, 17-pound brown.
Yeah. Well, we don't chase those trout. We go after salmon.
It's okay. I'm going to tell you, you can chase those ugly salmon. There's nothing prettier than a brown trout in Lake Ontario.
They're only ugly when they get to your end of the lake.
The salmon?
Yeah, they're dark. And
Sometimes. What's wrong with dark fish?
next question.
Next question. All right, Dean Kruger says, "Do you guys always troll to optimize the fish hawk speed, or a mix of surface?"
I'm always going to use my fish hawk for speed.
I don't run my fish hawk when I'm brown trout fishing in skinny water because my brother never tells me when it gets shallow. And I don't want to lose it. So it doesn't go in the water, but always go into the speed of the fish hawk. Surface, my GPS surface speed means nothing to me.
No, just shallow. 25 feet and deeper, I want to know what's going on where my lures are. And
I think the only people who care about surface speed are the guys that don't have a fish hawk, and they're like, "Well, what's your surface speed going east?"
right.
Yeah.
Right? Because they want
trying
to.
to
Yeah,
trying to take care of
they're trying to figure out how they can match your
So-
speed, 100%.
That's the only time surface speed matters.
Yeah.
When you don't have a fish hawk.
All right, so we talk about this all the time, and that is just replicate the number that catches fish. But what's your lucky number? Tell me what you guys like to run.
On the road?
Yeah.
2-1 to 2-3 for meat for me. Later in the season when I'm fishing the staging dark salmon that Rick don't like to catch, 2.7 to 2.9. Short leads, sometimes 3 feet off the ball with an 11-inch attractor and atomic fly does the trick. But most of the time I'm slower. I like to fish meat. I fish a little slower than most.
It's what you do. So like him saying he's doing 2-1 on the fish hawk, to me, like I don't think I've ever ran my fish hawk that slow, regardless of what I'm pulling. But so for me, like as long as it's in between 2.5, 2.7 in that area, that's kind of where I feel like my rods are moving. So
You did run a 2.0 one time. No, it was 3.0. We were over in Canada one time and Rick had food that we had bought together. So we
This is a
rafted our
great
boats
time.
together. He had, back then, I don't know if you had fish hawks back then. I think you were still running a Moors. He had his Moors down and I had my fish hawk down and I let his Trojan tow me around. Really good for gas. Because
Yeah.
in Canada, it's like $9 a gallon or 4 liters, whatever they have over there.
Might as well let Hajecki.
we had the widest boat on the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a 26-foot beam. We ran 6 riggers, 4 divers, some boards on both sides. We actually hooked up and landed one. Actually, he did on his boat. We were more about eating food, but it was 2.0 on his Moor and 3.0 on the fish hawk, and that was at the same depth. We made sure we did that just to see. So it was pretty neat.
That was probably one of the more fun times. Just
Yeah.
literally tied up and just kept trolling
Yeah, it was good.
and eating food.
I got to see his whole program. You know,
Yeah.
it's perfect. I knew what he was running.
Well, that was actually what I wanted to ask you next. Is you guys, you're good friends. You fish around each other a lot, especially in spring in Wilson, and obviously you communicate with each other quite a bit. What do you think the biggest similarities are to how you guys fish, and the biggest difference? And we're going to do this like a newlywed game. So let's have you do first the biggest differences, and then I'm going to have him tell me what he thinks the biggest differences are, and we're going to do strengths the other way around. So tell me what you think the biggest differences are, Casey.
I run a lot more meat than he's running in the springtime. He runs a lot more spoons than me.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest difference if I had to say anything.
Okay.
We were talking about this the other day. Like, okay, so if you got spoon fishermen, flesh or fly fishermen, meat fishermen, like rank those 1 to 3 from strongest to weakest in your, for your personal, however you fish. And I was like, spoons, meat, flesh or flies.
Meat, flash or fly spoons.
Yeah.
And not that I can't fish spoons. I just prefer to catch them on meat. I don't know. It's a confidence thing. It's what you have confidence in. Can I catch them on spoons? Do I catch them on spoons? Yes. Last year, 2 or 3 of the salmon slam fish that were 20 pounds for the win on that came on spoons. The rest came on meat. But that'd be what I'd say is the difference between me and him. We fish probably the same spreads. I mean, pretty much.
Don't get into similarities.
Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah,
I think it's Casey always tells me you don't like that meat getting your boat dirty.
No, I don't like touching it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to smell it on my hands because I like to eat. And if I go to eat a sandwich and I smell a herring, that's another thing that most people don't know about me. This is
I know about him.
He knows.
He eats 4 things.
And we're going to keep this G-rated.
One of them's pizza. I know that.
But I have never put anything in my mouth that came out of water. No lobster, shrimp, salmon, trout, no matter what it is.
He doesn't eat any
never
fish.
ate it. So
it's horrible to go to Key West with them.
Land animals only. All right.
Brutal.
So no, but I just don't want to smell that on my hands, to be honest with you. But I use plenty of it. It works great. When we're fishing tournaments, 100% have meat in the water. But if I can get away with just putting spoons down, I'm going to put spoons down all day long.
I'm lazy of them, but yeah.
All right, Rick.
No, he has
good
success with it.
What you see as similarities in how you guys fish together.
I'd say the way we have our boat set up. I think our boats are set up probably very similar, probably different than most people. I think we both run our diver rods behind our downriggers, which you don't see anywhere else on the Great Lakes, I don't think.
No, most people their divers are behind, closer to the helm. Ours are in the back corners. I've set it up like that on all my boats. He set it up. A couple other boats. Cold Steel has it like that.
There's a few boats that do it. And so what would you say the pros? And so people always ask me, like, why is your diver in the back corner of your boat and your riggers in front of it? I always tell them the biggest reason is I can make turns and not have to worry about that diver wire rubbing on my downrigger. But the best thing is when you do get a fish on that diver rod, you don't have to get it up and over that downrigger. That's the biggest thing for customers.
It's not wrapping around it. It's not hitting on it. You pick it out and it's right there.
The only bad thing I see with it, though, is when you are netting fish in the corners, that rod needs to get moved more times than not.
Yeah. If you have the right crew with you or even an old mate, you can hand it to them and it's out of the way. But I definitely like the way our boats are set up. Yeah.
You guys both have pretty wide beam boats. That's got to help too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just got more room to do that.
Yep.
All right. We got a couple of questions coming in here. Listen from Dean Kruger. What's your typical length of line behind the downrigger ball?
Typical for me would be probably 20 foot.
Yeah, 15, 20 foot. I think that's fair.
All right.
All depends on the situation, but I think that's an average right there. Yeah.
Okay. Jim, he wants to talk about eating fish from Lake Ontario. A lot of people keeping salmon from Lake Ontario to eat. How are they for contamination? Are they getting cleaner these days, he says?
100% Lake Ontario is getting cleaner than it ever has been, right?
100%.
The DEC puts these fish. So the way I explain it to my customers, the DEC stocks these fish. They have to put some sort of warning out there to cover their butts, right? Most people in the States are taking a fillet off the side of that fish and eating it. But we have cultures in this world that don't waste anything. Us Americans, we waste a lot of stuff. Let's be honest. We're very wasteful people. There's other cultures in this world that don't waste a bit of that fish. So there is mercury in these salmon. From my understanding is it's in the stomach lining.
Yes.
So if you're going to grind a fish up and say, yes, there is a mercury level in this fish, fine. But nobody's eating stomach lining or any part of the fish that has contaminants in them. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of somebody dying from eating a fish at a Lake Ontario?
No, I honestly haven't. And I can tell you the water is getting clearer and clearer every year. And I think, you would see it. You would hear about it. The meat looks good. It's a healthy fish. The fish aren't. I don't think the salmon spends much time. Like you said, it's all fillet. It's not in the belly. I think you're right. I mean, I'll agree with you on that. No, I think they're healthy. Eat them, especially cohos. Delicious. You wouldn't know about that. You're missing out.
Yeah.
Rick,
Dude,
anything
what do you
else?
think about Pete Alex with a backwards hat?
You know, he's trying to look young. I told you he's old. The guy's trying to look long. Hey, guess what?
What?
While you're here, yesterday I was out here and I saw Stealth Core from Fish USA has Pete Alex on it.
Mhm.
He signed an autograph on it. I leave here, I'm walking by. Dude gives me $200 for it. Guess what I got today? I'm gonna get at least $150 for that. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, guys. Look how young he looks there. When he gets on this in the next couple minutes, you're gonna see he's weathering. And oh man, got my Fish USA hoodie so I can look just like my boy Pete when he gets on the show.
Make sure you put the hood up.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. He's gonna wear his hood backwards. I'm gonna wear it just like this. Mama's gonna knock you out, sucker.
All right, man. You guys have fun with
All
that.
right.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rick.
It's fun, always fun talking
Yep.
to you.
Good to see you, buddy.
It was a good time.